Good guy, that Mike Garafolo. It has been far too long since we have spoken with our NFL insider, Mike Garafolo. So long, in fact, that he's now wearing a very attractive orange button-up shirt and appears to be in a new residence. Mike, what is happening in your life?
We're doing renovations at our house right now, Jay. So the office where my home camera usually is completely being torn up. I think we're about to, there you go. That's what's happening inside the office right now. The hope is that we're done well in advance for the start of the season so that our regular hits will take you back to our humble abode. But right now, Roberto and his team are in there just tearing that thing to shreds. It is amazing sometimes to me what contractors are able to do. So we're in a temporary rental right here with some artwork and sleeping kids on the other side of this wall.
We'll try to keep it down. Let's try to keep it down. Okay. It's fine because it felt like a secret. Aaron Rodgers, was he going to sign with the Steelers or not? Finally, he waits until the start of OTAs. It's a one-year deal. Free agency started 85 days ago, Mike. The regular season starts in 91 days. Why Thursday? Why did he sign Thursday?
The why, well, he's still got to travel there and make it official. The why for now is that he can get in there and get some work with the team this spring. Remember Cam Hayward, who's one of the core members of that locker room, a couple of months ago was saying either you want to be a Pittsburgh Steeler or you don't, basically saying what is taking you so long. Then a couple weeks later, Cam Hayward was saying, well, you got to have some patience, which the Steelers said they were willing to have that patience up to a certain point. Rodgers made it clear that he had some personal things going on. He had a little bit of, I don't call it leverage. I mean, he had the ability to set his own time frame because of who he is, what he's done in his career, and the fact that there weren't that many great options out there for the Steelers other than him, certainly not at this point. So Rodgers basically wanted to at least get a little bit of the spring so that he's not coming in at the start of training camp cold. So he'll get mini camp with them next week. I'll be there for NFL Network covering it. These mini camps, we don't necessarily go out and cover them, but this one, it's like you're going to get Rodgers on the field with the Steelers for the first time. You hope if you're the Steelers, it goes better than it did with the Jets. It's going to be different, right? It's not going to be Rodgers coming in as basically a glorified assistant general manager, getting to pick all of his players and get his teammates there with him. I don't know that helped him in the Jets, though, so that could wind up being a good thing. But Mike Tomlin, he certainly has the respect for Rodgers. Rodgers the respect for him. There were other teams involved. We know the Giants were interested. I know another number of other teams as well were at least nosing around. But Rodgers really pared it down. Minnesota, if they had been interested, I truly believe that was his number one location. They didn't really show that interest. So at this point, you get Rodgers in Pittsburgh with a team that we know is going to be competitive because that's what Mike Tomlin does. Can he get him over the hump? Is there enough good football left? Can he stay healthy? These are a few leaps of faith from the Steelers here, believing that Rodgers can still be all that.
Well, let's go deeper into that because, as you alluded, it did not work out with the Jets. 5-12 as a starter last season. The Steelers haven't had a losing season in 100 years. What are realistic expectations of this partnership? Because we know, Mike, teams needed 10 wins to make the playoffs in the AFC a season ago.
Yeah. Well, Arthur Smith is the offensive coordinator. We know it's going to be a run-heavy attack. We know Mike Tomlin wants to do that. We know basically up in the front office, up to ownership, that's who they want to be as the Steelers, which is fine. You can have Rodgers, if he's relying on that heavy ground game, you don't have to put too much on his shoulders. And, when I talked to people with the Jets last year, they were talking about the flashes that you would see. Even in that first game against San Francisco, there was that one drive at the end where you said, okay, there's the flash. There's what we expected. Now we can build on that. And they would just come intermittently. It wasn't consistent. And I think that was the frustration with the Jets is they knew deep down there was something there. Why couldn't they tap into that consistently? Is he done? Is he just not doesn't have that good football left on a consistent level? Was it the injuries? He certainly was affected, maybe more so than we were letting on or talking about, or maybe even he was letting on. So I know that was a frustration as well. The Achilles in 23, it is what it is. It just kind of happened. But the other things in 24, are they going to continue? Is he just at the point of his life and his career where he's always going to be banged up? It doesn't take much for a 41-year-old to get banged up. That's part of that leap of faith that I'm talking about with the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are hoping also that this is going to be a good locker room for them. or quarterback room for them, excuse me, with Mason Rudolph, who they believe in greatly, Will Howard, the youngster that they drafted. So they're hopeful that at least Rodgers and his presence will rub off on those guys. The Jets did hope the same for Zach Wilson as well. I will add one more thing to this in a non-Rodgers capacity. This development does take the last really remaining spot for Kirk Cousins as a starter.
Right.
So Cousins and the Falcons have been doing this dance all offseason. I think this pretty much takes the last one off the table, barring an injury down the line. If we see an injury where all of a sudden a team needs a quarterback, that could be a landing spot for Cousins. But he's been there in the spring basically saying, okay, you say you want me as potentially your backup. I'll do it. I'll be here. I'll show up. I won't let you trade me. I've got that no trade clause. Well, here's that last landing spot. So it looks like Kirk Cousins is going to wind up being a highly paid backup. And is that the best thing for Michael Penix and the Falcons? We'll see.
We will see. And is it the best thing for Kirk Cousins? We'll see as well. And is it the best thing for Roberto, the contractor? Only time will tell as Mike's renovation continues. Either way, no matter where you are, Mike, we love having you on the show. Good luck with the reno, buddy.
I appreciate it, pal. If you know how to swing a hammer, Jay, you're welcome here anytime. Well,
Mike,
there.
Mike, you know I don't.